All right, we should be live here. Hey guys, my name is Daniel and welcome back to welcome to the first finance channel live stream. And, we're going to talk all about Voyager, the crypto market, do a bit of a Q&A here. And, it's obviously the first live stream. I'm learning with all of you guys. And at the end of the day, we're here to talk about Voyager, here to have fun. So, drop any questions that you have in the comment section, the live chat, whatever you want to call it. But, talk about Voyager, go through some questions, just have some fun, mainly just a test at this point. This is a software that I am trying out. So, let me know in the comment section any thoughts that you have on this whole kind of live stream format. And without further ado here, let's get into it. So what I kind of want to cover here first, there are some questions in the chat first and foremost, talking about the VGX token. Starting September 1st, the Voyager loyalty program will go live. And Steve has said this in the past, that even if the UI isn't complete for the VGX token and for the loyalty program, you will start earning those rewards. And at that time, no matter how much VGX you own, you will earn 7%. And that is true and brings new people to the token, which is great. We kind of covered that. Let's go through the stock a little bit here. I just want to share my screen. That's the new software here. Entire screen, share, and here we go. So Voyager Digital stock obviously had a great day yesterday. We covered this in yesterday's video. And, before we go through anything, look at the price of Bitcoin, guys, $34,345 per coin. This is up substantially over the past couple of days. I mean, the change in sentiment that we've seen in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies over the past couple of days has been absolutely phenomenal, right? We've gone through many different periods of times over the past kind of couple of months here at this point, some positivity, some negativity. But looking at this run here, there's a lot of optimism that we may go back to the 40,000, 50,000 levels, which when we talk about Voyager Digital stock, that may be one of the best things that could happen to Voyager as a company right now. Bitcoin and sentiment around crypto is increasing in a positive way, because as we know, when positivity around cryptocurrencies increase, Voyager Digital tends to increase or kind of experience increased levels of trading volume, increased revenues, and thus potentially an increase in its stock price. So when we look at Bitcoin going up, this isn't just good for people involved in the crypto industry, but it's great for Voyager Digital shareholders, VGX token holders as a whole, as it benefits people from so many different aspects. So I remain optimistic, heavily optimistic, that moving forwards here over the next couple of months, we have a very kind of likely scenario of Bitcoin potentially rebounding as optimism around crypto changes, because we've seen an increase and improvement in fundamentals at Bitcoin over the past couple of weeks, months, despite this kind of lull in trading volume and price. So let me know what you think in the comments section, but I think Bitcoin has a very good chance of rebounding here, but it's got some kind of support here around this 34,000 level. So either way, I do believe that the worst is kind of behind us when it comes to Bitcoin price action, but either way, I'm not a wizard. I can't predict this. That's just my thought. Now, next thing I'm going to cover here, Voyager's App Store rankings and Google Play Store rankings. Again, kind of stagnating on the Google Play Store. Something I did notice is when we talk about App Store rankings versus Google Play Store rankings for Voyager Digital, Voyager ranks much higher on the Google Play Store than they rank on the App Store, and this is something that has been mentioned many times in the past. And I can't really pinpoint this rather to a specific reason. I really don't have anything. If you have some thoughts, let me know. But at the end of the day, they're performing much better on Android than they are on the App Store. We'll take a look at App Store right here. I do have it I was just looking at it. It has been rebounding slightly here over the past couple of days and weeks here. Again, we do have to consider, as Bitcoin prices potentially rebound, sentiment around cryptocurrency rebounds, and thus App Store rankings increase for Voyager, sitting at around 100th place on the App Store for finance top charts. It's been better. It's been worse. I think at the end of the day, Voyager will continue to grow here. But, when I kind of look at my kind of account targets for Voyager here, and this is something I want to cover. When we talk about accounts at Voyager at the end of June, this was at roughly 665,000, and we did see a slowdown in growth throughout that month, something very important to understanding. And we saw a decrease in crypto prices and thus a decrease in sentiment and thus a decrease in growth at Voyager with accounts. Now, moving forwards here, this 95,000 account growth number could very well be the bottom. right? But for that to be the bottom, we need to see cryptos rebound like we have been over the past couple of days, which makes me very optimistic here. But either way, I see very likely scenario Voyager gets to 1 million funded accounts by the end of the year. And if, Steve is correct in saying that we potentially expand to Europe by the end of this year, that number could very well be low. I mean, originally, if cryptos didn't experience this massive downtrend, 2 million accounts would have been a no-brainer, at least in my opinion. But considering this, we did see a bit of a slowdown. I think we will see a bit of a recovery over the coming months, leading me to believe that 1 million, 1.5 million funded accounts is very likely for Voyager. And obviously, if you own the VGX token, if you own Voyager Digital stock, that's just a flat out positive, right? Because the more people that kind of have accounts at Voyager, the more people that are able to participate in the Voyager loyalty program, and thus, kind of beyond that, the more money Voyager makes in revenue for shareholders. So increase in accounts, this is one of the biggest metrics for Voyager as a company. And again, it is highly correlated to sentiment, which is slowly shifting right now, and increasingly optimistic about that. Now, I just want to cover my Voyager Digital fair value target here. Looking at the price of Bitcoin here, before we do go further, obviously we did see a massive rebound here over the past, I want to say 24, 72 hours. Beyond what we kind of closed at yesterday, if crypto kind of, I mentioned this in yesterday's video. If Bitcoin maintains that roughly $33,000, $33,500 level, which it was trading at just yesterday, Voyager is in for a very good day on Monday. Now that we have Bitcoin trading at over $34,000 per coin, I think we could very well see a situation where Voyager stock experiences a similar upward movement to what we saw on Wednesday, as long as crypto prices remain at this level. Because, it's all about sentiment. It's all about trading volume. And at the end of the day, Wall Street is using the price of Bitcoin to kind of assume potential trading volume at Voyager as a company. So as long as we're trading at these levels, expect a very good day tomorrow. Again, not a financial advisor, not a wizard. I can't predict anything, but that's at least my opinion. Now, again, kind of just going through my fair value targets, because, why not here in this situation? Share price around $13.50. Fully diluted share count sitting at around 171,750,000, factoring in their share buyback, giving us a fully diluted market cap at the company of just around $2.3 billion. So significantly less than Coinbase, and significantly less than Robinhood, which, I was just looking at that. Let me know if you want to see a video on Robinhood, but they're planning to IPO at a valuation of anywhere from $32 to $35 billion. So that's well over 10 to 15x the market cap of Voyager Digital, despite revenues actually not being that much higher. So, either way, something interesting to consider there. And, the biggest metric here, and I continue to kind of stress this, revenue per account per month. What is this metric? What we've gone with Voyager is a quarterly update. We got some data for April, May, and June combined. But the thing about that quarter is that, a lot of things changed. And I just want to kind of pull up a bit of a diagram here. Throughout the month, when we look at trading volume, this declined substantially. When we look at, or I guess it wasn't like that, but maybe something like this. When we look at potential account growth, right? It was great at the beginning, maybe flatlined a little. So, at the end of the day, when we talk about this quarter, we got some clarification as to what happened in its entirety. But what I personally would love to know is what happened throughout April, what happened throughout May, what happened throughout June. Because in that sense, we'd be able to get more clarity, which at this point we don't really have, which, that's completely fine. At least we got, over 100 million, I think $110 million in revenue throughout the month of, again, April, May, and June. But at the end of the day, it would be nice to have clarity. But, we got to go through this. I think it was around $55 to $60 per revenue per account per month throughout this latest quarter. But again, factoring in that decline, the months of May and June, more likely than not had a lower number when it comes to this. So, $40 per account per month is kind of where we're at least in my opinion. If we factor in a bit of optimism, maybe $50 to $60. But again, assuming potentially funded accounts now at 700,000, hey, I think that is a fair estimate, given that it's been almost a month since Voyager was at around 670,000 total funded accounts. So I'm optimistic that number's there. And, given that we get monthly revenue just under 30 million, which is similar to what we saw back in March. So this is very interesting here. When we talk about the impact of a potential cryptocurrency bear market or a stagnation in crypto prices for something like Coinbase, the thing about Coinbase is that they don't have that much explosive growth when it comes to total funded accounts. I mean, sure, they experienced phenomenal growth over the past couple of quarters, but accounts will more likely than not not be growing as significantly as they have been over the past couple of quarters. I mean, they have over 50 million verified accounts. How easy is it for them to double that up over the next couple of quarters? Not that easy. But with Voyager Digital, back in March, they just had a couple 100,000 total funded accounts. So what we've seen, despite this decline in revenue per account per month, we've seen a substantial increase in accounts, leading us to a point where even though Voyager experienced a substantial decline in revenue per account, the new accounts added to the platform over the past couple of months had made up for that. So, when we talk about a potential cryptocurrency bear market, sure, that might hit Voyager, but they're still in rapid growth mode to a point where even if revenue per account per month drops significantly, account growth will make up for that over time. And that's something that, I absolutely love about Voyager. And that's something that we've seen here over the past couple of months. So even assuming this relatively conservative scenario of $40 per account per month in revenue, we have just under $30 million in revenue per month, or over $330 million a year in revenue at the company. Now, the next thing we got to focus in on is operating income. What is this, right? And at the end of the day, again, we didn't get much clarity on this in the latest quarter, but in the first quarter of this year, January, February, and March, we have 50% operating income at Voyager, meaning after expenses like transaction-based expenses, employees, advertising, 50% of their revenue went to EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciations, and amortizations. The biggest cost out of this is taxes. So assuming this number stays the same with what it did in the prior quarter, which totally makes sense as we're at an even higher revenue run rate, we get roughly $126 million in net income, or a PE ratio of just around 16. So assuming a PE ratio of 20, 25, 30, fair value for the stock currently in the current cryptocurrency climate that we're in is sitting at around $15 to $22. This is not factoring in any growth or any rebound in cryptocurrency prices, which we are currently seeing. If you assume this number goes up to, let's say, 55, you see fair value explode to $20 to $30. If you see it go back to potentially $65, again, let's just use that as an example, fair value increases even more substantially. And if you see it potentially return to those very high levels, which is what we saw back in potentially January, February, and March, where crypto volume was insane, you get fair value increasing even more substantially. This is not factoring in any growth in potential new products, no growth in accounts. And at the end of the day, we're more likely than not going to see a rebound in cryptocurrency prices and a rebound in sentiment over the next couple of months, leading me to believe that Voyager currently, a lot of potential. When it comes to their fundamentals, there's no reason that the stock cannot continue to shoot up higher. And, this is just factoring in the fair value of the stock using today's numbers. So if Wall Street turns and shifts their optimism towards cryptocurrencies, and if they start valuing Voyager based off of 2022, 2023, 2024 numbers, get ready. That's all I got to say. Nothing's changed with Voyager as a company. Fundamentals continue to improve, rather. And this is kind of, again, just an update and clarification on what's going on. So, we covered a lot about Voyager here. I want to kind of shift to more of a Q&A now. I'm assuming there is a lot of, a lot of questions. I just want to go through each of these here. Voyager to 100, VGX tokenomics. I will do a video on this in the near future, I want to say, as there has been some questions regarding Voyager from the perspective of, how many VGX tokens are there going to be by the end of this year? How many are there going to be potentially by the end of 2022, 2023? As again, it is slightly inflationary due to the fact that, that 7% that they pay out on a yearly basis, or I guess, it's a little under 1% monthly. It's a situation where they kind of mint new tokens. And at the end of the day, that does allow for more people to participate in the program. Either way, the growth at Voyager will make up for that. Hope it gets back to $20 soon. Hopefully, if crypto keeps increasing, $20 will happen very soon. Once the VLP starts, will you get an interest boost on all tokens? Yes, that is correct. On September 1st, everything showcased in the Voyager loyalty program will hit your account. So although the UI may not be ready yet, which I'm assuming it more likely than not will be, you will start getting the rewards. And that's, at the end of the day, that is the most important thing. Great channel. Thank you. Daniel, your thoughts on the bull case for stock platform? Are we still on for first half of next year for the platform to be built out and operational? Thanks for the content. Really appreciate that. So talking about Voyager's stock trading platform, this is obviously a very exciting thing that will allow them to compete with, again, potentially the Robinhoods of the world, maybe even something like SoFi. longer term, Voyager is an all-in-one finance app. And at the end of the day, stocks is just another aspect of their business that will allow them to kind of, expand on their financial service or as a financial services platform. But looking at them as a stock platform, we are still on track for first half of 2022. No delays from that standpoint. Obviously, they partnered up with Market Rebellion to do this. They're heavily experienced and involved in the stock trading space. So that's totally the clientele that Voyager is going after. And, from my understanding, I'm really excited about this, and I think it will open up a new revenue source for them over the long run. To answer your question, yes, bull case, I think, it won't get as big as the crypto side of their platform, as crypto is what they're known for, but I think it's going to be a great addition to their platform. And next thing we got here, price prediction for the VGX token. I actually went through this on, we've started the Voyager roundtable with DJ Crypto and Digital Doji. We had some predictions there. DJ Crypto thinks it's going well over $10 by the end of September. I want to say Digital Doji thinks it's around $2.50 by September, assuming more of a stagnation in crypto prices. And I think, honestly, it could go to $5. We'll see what happens on that front. But we do have a super chat here. Thank you so much, man. Daniel, look at my tweet, and everyone tip this man to show. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the support, guys. By the way, it wouldn't be, I wouldn't have the chance to do this if it wasn't for you guys. And at the end of the day, I'm the one that's grateful for, you guys sticking around, watching my videos. And I'm a supporter of Voyager. We all love Voyager. We all love stocks, cryptocurrencies. And at the end of the day, that's, what I want to focus on this channel. So, thanks for the support. And let's move on here. We just talked about the VGX token price target. What about the number of Bitcoin on the balance sheet on a Voyager? And actually, I can do that. That's great. See, the thing about Voyager's balance sheet is that they include the customer assets held on the actual platform. So the Bitcoin that you see on Voyager's balance sheet isn't actually owned by Voyager, and instead is held on Voyager through different customers, if that makes sense. It's customers that have deposited Voyager onto the Voyager platform. So when you look at their balance sheet, there is a huge asset worth billions of dollars, and there's also a huge liability worth billions of dollars. So Voyager's balance sheet currently consists primarily of cash, but could they expand into Bitcoin in the future? Yeah, they very well could. I mean, they're already very exposed to the crypto sector, so not entirely needed in my opinion, but this Bitcoin on their balance sheet, it isn't theirs, at least from my understanding. And, again, at the end of the day, it is just customer assets. So let's keep moving on here. We got some Voyager and VGX token holders. That's great. You own any Bitcoin miner? No, I don't. I actually, I experimented with this back in 2017, 2018. A friend of mine came up to me. He's like, I heard about this thing called Ethereum mining. And I was a little bit skeptical. And now it turns out that we would have lost a lot of money. So, I'm happy I didn't get into that, but I hold Voyager stock as my crypto exposure, and that is, that's the way I like to play it, at least at this point. Price predictions. Just went through that. VGX token, I think I don't really have a price prediction for the VGX token. That's the thing about that, as when we talk about a stock, it's much easier to actually value the company on a fundamental level, look at revenues, profits to determine a potential share price using a certain price to earnings ratio. But talking about the VGX token, it's much more difficult, as there are a lot of variables in the cryptocurrency sector. At least in my opinion, it's one that, at the end of the day, dollar cost averaging is one of the best things that you can do. And I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't tell you to do this. But in my opinion, it's very difficult to value these cryptocurrencies. And it's almost more of a bet on the industry. So, just dollar cost averaging, going through the highs, going through the lows, at least in my opinion, is one of the best things that you can do. What are your thoughts on Smile Direct Club? See, I looked into this one. Obviously a competitor to Invisalign. I think it's got potential. I like the company. I need to dive in, deep into the numbers a little bit more here over the next couple of days. I know you asked me for an analysis video, and that will come with time. It's just I want to understand the business on a high level before I make a video on it. Daniel, what effect in stock do you think the Toronto Stock Exchange will have to Voyager on the 27th? Any prediction? Well, I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, the uplisting to the Toronto Stock Exchange will be a positive catalyst for Voyager. It will increase volume of Voyager Digital stock. And, I'm personally really excited for the NASDAQ, which is when we can start experimenting with potential options, potentially selling puts or, buying calls, things along those lines. I'm really looking forward to these uplistings, as I think they will add validation to Voyager's business. And again, I'm looking forward to them. What effect on the stock? What we've seen here over the past little while, at least from the stocks that I've been following, prior to the uplisting to something like the NASDAQ or the Toronto Stock Exchange, the stocks tend to run and then they tend to sell off immediately after. Will that happen with Voyager? I'm not 100% sure. The stock is clearly undervalued, so it may be a situation where it actually continues to increase as institutions load up on shares. But I'm optimistic about a potential uplisting. I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, I mean, he did say the end of July, so I'm hopeful that we do get something soon. I do think I missed a super chat here. Was this? No, sorry, it's not a super chat. Just highlighted, clicked on it. But how about Cardano? About to launch smart contracts. Let's go. I'm a strong believer in Cardano, as a lot of you know. I've made a few videos on them. Let me know if you want to see potentially more updates on Cardano. But making smart contracts is the thing that will allow them to compete with Ethereum, which, as we know, is currently one of the biggest cryptocurrencies out there. Almost the number 2 to Bitcoin, at least in my opinion. It's number 1. Bitcoin is a little bit outdated when it comes to their technology, and Ethereum kind of fills the gap that Bitcoin doesn't. But at the end of the day, Bitcoin, a store of value, Ethereum, the technology. That's what you go for. In Cardano, in my opinion, very likely they become potentially a big competitor with Ethereum longer term. And will they overtake Ethereum? I'm not sure. Ethereum has the head start, but Cardano has a very good chance of potentially catching up with them, or maybe even overtaking them over the coming years. Now, I did miss a super chat here. Hey, Daniel, thanks again for the work you do. Question for you. How can I buy the VGX token in Canada? I am, for any of you who are potentially new to the channel or don't know, I am from Canada. I'm located in Canada. I was born in Canada. And, the way I bought the VGX token was simply through Binance. I went to Binance. I bought VQX, which is essentially Voyager Digital. And, when we talk about buying the VGX token now, the thing is, if you live outside of Ontario, sure, go ahead, use Binance. That's completely fine. But, we talked about this on the channel a little bit ago, and it's that Binance is actually getting banned within Ontario by the end of this year for, again, skipping a lot of the regulatory hurdles and not facing them up front, which is something that I love about Voyager Digital. When they do something, they do it well. And at the end of the day, that's something that I really value as an investor. And it makes me very confident moving forwards that, they're going to be able to expand into these new markets, Canada, Europe, and be able to stay and compete with them and not have to get kicked out like Binance and its subsidiaries. So, I've kind of skipped over the question here, but how do you buy VGX in Canada? If you live outside of Ontario, use Binance, VQX, it's tethered with Bitcoin and Ethereum. But if you are located with Ontario, the best way to do it is set up a MetaMask. You have to import the VGX token through something like CoinMarketCap onto MetaMask, and then you simply swap Ethereum deposited there into VGX, which is done actually very easily through their kind of swap feature. So that's the easiest way to do it. MetaMask, search up how to kind of swap a token. If you want to see an update on how to do that, let me know in the comment section. If there is some demand, I will do it as a, at the end of the day, we're all going to have to deposit it into MetaMask at some point over the next couple of weeks and months to participate in the VGX token swap. As that's a big event, guys. We're going from something that is just a cryptocurrency to something that has actual utility. And that is such an exciting thing. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a big catalyst for Voyager as a company, not just the VGX token, but Voyager as a company, as I do think one of the things that's stopping them from expanding into Europe is the Voyager loyalty program and the new UI that comes with that. So I'm very optimistic that this will have a big positive on the actual Voyager platform moving forwards here. And let me know what you think in the comments section. What do we have here? Android, iOS use different formulas for determining app rankings. Okay, thank you. So, okay, that makes sense. That might be worth taking a look at. How is the algorithm different for the App Store than it is for, Android? Is it app downloads? Is it potentially, how many reviews have they gotten? Is it, I don't know if they can even track how long you spend on the app, but, that's interesting. It might just be the algorithm. Either way, Voyager, great platform, a lot of positivity around it over the past couple of weeks here. Voyager is not going to have substantial growth until the next run. I agree with that. We have, here, at the end of the day, if crypto prices stagnate, Voyager's growth obviously won't be at the level that it would be if we saw a crypto bull market, right? At the end of the day, that's completely clear. And we all understand that. But the thing about Voyager is sorry, I can't even talk. They're still so small to where they haven't even launched their marketing campaign. Once they do that, they're going to experience growth. Once they expand into Europe, they're going to experience growth. Canada, growth. New products, growth. Stocks, growth. I can go on and on and on. So growth at Voyager is not the problem. Right now, it's executing, doing things well, and at the end of the day, making sure to go through all of the regulatory hurdles and not skip over them and face problems over the long run. They need to market the average retail trader that is not aware of anything other than, so that kind of adding on to my point here that, Steve has said that they're, getting into marketing, which I think will be great for the business. They have a lot of money to use. And I think marketing is one of the best ways to do that. But, we'll see what happens here moving forwards. But I think people need to understand what Voyager is. People need to understand that they're better than BlockFi. They're better than a lot of the crypto lending or staking firms out there. As what other place lets you have a fixed in Bitcoin interest rate for the remainder of this year at over 5%? Ethereum as well. Absolutely phenomenal. Did you all see Steve talking to Robert Irvin from Food Network and Discovery? No, I did not. Oh, yes, I did see this about getting payments into his restaurants. Steve tweeted at him. This was very interesting. Obviously, Voyager is involved in the payment processing space, and I think that's a very exciting opportunity for them over the longer run. Getting into something like a Stripe or potentially like a Square, where you can actually use cryptocurrencies as a form of payment. And they partnered with Larry.com to get this done. And I think it's a very exciting venture for them to get into. And imagine if Steve actually partners up with some of the biggest people in the restaurant name to get this done. I think it would be great. Oh, buy the dip, sell the tip. DJ Crypto in the house. Great to see you. All right. Told Stevie's on. Oh, here. Okay. Love the channel. Is there any difference in purchasing VYGVF or Voyager on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange beyond, say, market hours and volatility? No, there is not. These are all different exchanges. Voyager is listed on 3: the OTC Exchange, the Canadian Securities Exchange, and the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. And this is one thing that I've mentioned to European users. And at the end of the day, at least, I'm not in Europe, so I don't know the best way to purchase Voyager there, but it would kind of make sense that stocks on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange would be maybe easier to buy than something on the American OTC Exchange or the Canadian Securities Exchange. But no difference on this front. You're still getting a share and part ownership of the company. And I'm looking forward to that. Hi, Alexander. How you doing? On Twitter, buy it. Just a little bit of chatting here in the comment section. All right, Daniel, I know Voyager said Bitcoin and Ethereum rates are locked for 2021. What is your expectation on interest rates 2022 and beyond? Okay, this is interesting here. So, Voyager is pretty much the only company that has locked in interest rates on these different cryptocurrencies. And, when we talk about having a locked in interest rate, it's a big differentiating factor for something like Voyager, as no one else has it, right? And what it does is it offers certainty. It says, all right, you're going to get this much money for your Bitcoin for the next 5-6 months. And no other platform can say that. So from a marketing perspective, that's great. But beyond, we do expect these percentages to decline across the board as more people stake, as more people lend, and as more people participate in the kind of like the crypto earning program at things like Voyager, BlockFi, etc. So I do expect them to go down. They haven't gone down yet, which is great. But at the end of the day, Voyager will benefit from this either way. And it's not like one platform will be able to have 6% Bitcoin and one won't be. It's all going to be relatively the same. So next thing we got to cover here. By the way, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you are new. Let me know if you enjoy these videos in the comment section down below. Hit that like button as well. I know there is a bit of a blurry feed. At the end of the day, this is a new program that I am just testing now. And at least from my understanding, it's working great. And they do have a paid premium package, which I do think I will be purchasing. That gets rid of the StreamYard logo and makes the content 1080p instead of 720. So a little bit better quality. I do think this is looks to be a great program. By the way, the reason, I'm personally on a laptop. Everything that I do is on a laptop. I have a webcam. I have a bunch of Elgato equipment, which is, I'm interested in Corsair stock. We'll see if I end up buying it, but Elgato is great. So, when I kind of transfer between, screen sharing and my face, you do see a little bit in the middle of kind of what I see, which we did see that for a couple seconds there. But either way, I'm going to kind of continue doing these. I don't think we have that many questions here left. So, actually a bunch just loaded and I kind of lost my place here. Sorry, guys. Oh. Live streams are definitely a little bit different. I hope I didn't miss any. Yeah, talking about with Robert Irvin. Oh, I sold for a 60% loss for Voyager. That sucks, man. I mean, at the end of the day, if you selling Voyager is or selling any stock for a loss is something no one wants to do, right? It absolutely sucks. And one of the most important things to do is never to get emotions involved with any stock that you buy. You want to look at it from purely a fundamental perspective. Sure, if you like the product, that's great, but you can't have that overshadow it. And it sucks. The crypto market took a turn. No one was expecting this. And at the end of the day, if you need to sell for your own purposes, that's completely fine, and that's your decision. But I'm not selling any of my Voyager shares. I have not sold any Voyager shares. I am someone who will not sell unless something fundamentally changes with the business. The stock price is over even my most loftiest price targets, or potentially other very serious reasons. Yeah, no, I definitely did skip over some questions here. When are we getting debit cards? Yeah, I mean, the debit card is one of the next things that Voyager and Steve have been planning here over the next little while. How big of a revenue source will this be for Voyager? That remains to be seen. But I do think it's great and sets them up on a path to expand into, again, much more than just being a crypto brokerage, but expanding into, again, a large financial services platform based on the blockchain. So I'm personally very excited for debit cards in that aspect of their business. But, we'll see what happens with that moving forward. Steve is very optimistic about that. And I realize there are a lot of questions here, so I don't think I'll be able to go through all of these here today, as we're 32 minutes at this point. Do you see Voyager one day having a Super Bowl commercial like E-Trade does every year? Potentially. Super Bowl, I think that's a great way to market. We just saw Crypto.com, I think this was a couple of weeks ago. They partnered with the UFC, a multi-$100 million deal. I think it's like a decade long, and they're everywhere on the UFC. They're on the shorts, they're on the t-shirts, they're on the in the actual octagon. So I see Voyager doing their sports marketing tactic. If they get into potentially Super Bowl related things, that's great. I think I'm very confident that Steve's experience in the brokerage industry will allow them to have a high level of marketing over the coming weeks, months, years, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, Voyager knows how to grow their platform, and I'm very excited about that to see what happens with that rather moving forward. So I think I might end it off there. I apologize if I missed any of your questions. There are only so many that I can get to, and we literally have hundreds here that I have obviously not been able to respond to. But let me know if you like this kind of style of content. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you being here, and I look forward to making more live streams in the future. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.